A beautiful morning to you, Lagos. This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It is the 29th day of December 2025, the final Monday of the year, people. We have made it thus far. I feel blessed. I feel privileged to be right here with you on the radio, ready to dive into some very important matters. Whatever you've done from January up until this point, you can take a pause, take stock. Look back on the year, be proud of all your achievements, even though you didn't cross all the lines you wanted to cross, you didn't cross all the T's or dot all the I's. Just be thankful that you've been able to achieve something. Even a step away from where you were yesterday is a step in the right direction. So let us all be thankful for being here at this point. I definitely am. I'm looking forward to a great morning with you on Freshly Pressed here on the Smooth Breakfast. This is yours truly, Ayokunmi, and it's going to be an interesting, interactive morning, which you always make absolutely stupendous. Join us on WhatsApp, join us on YouTube as well. Let us know your thoughts on the stories we're talking about this morning. The WhatsApp number is 0911 YouTube, you can find us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Leave your comments there as well. We love to hear, or should I say, read from you. All right, joining me this morning to take a look at the stories on a Monday morning. You know, it is always the tag team of AB Bozimo and, of course, Mr. C. AB, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Mr. C. And honestly, a good and blessed morning to every single listener that we have here. We've been together throughout this year. Unprecedented things have happened, and the contributions have always been keen and insightful. It's truly a privilege and a pleasure to join you this morning, as we have as often as possible throughout the year.
Yes, indeed. Mr. C, good morning to you.
Good morning, Nayo. Good morning, AB. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, wonderful listeners. Like AB said, it's truly been the custom right from January up until now. And as we close out the year, let's close it out in style and let's get into the stories.
Yes, indeed. Let's get into the stories. We'll start this talking about legal matters. Of course, this is right up your alley, Mr. C. We're stepping into the Punch, where it says the National Judicial Council has disclosed that 34 applicants, including a chief superintendent of police, failed the judge's appointment integrity test conducted by the Federal Judicial Service Commission. The council made this known in a statement on Sunday in Abuja, explaining that while 62 applicants passed the computer-based test conducted by the Federal High Court in Abuja, only 28 nominees emerged successful after integrity screening. Mr. C, what exactly transpired here? And can you give us more insight into this?
Okay, thank you very much, Ida. So, how did we get here? In the recent past, we've been inundated with the conduct of certain judicial officers, which truly border on the shocking and the frightening, because they appear to have little or no integrity. As a matter of fact, some judicial officers are presently on suspension without pay. Some judicial officers have been dismissed within the last 5 years. Some judicial officers have been prevented from being promoted in the next 5 years, 3 to 5 years. So here we are. There have been renewed calls, both by the NBA, civil society groups, that there should be increased focus in the application process to become a judge. That not just anyone should become a judge, and that they should apply the same standards they use when they're considering people who apply to become senior advocates. So this is where the integrity test came in. Okay. Now, the integrity test, as defined by the NJC and the Federal Judicial Service Commission, requires the list of shortlisted applicants to be advertised or published in the papers, and then people respond to that publication with complaints or grievances or issues against them. Now, it's instructed to note that this CSP you mentioned is a serving police officer. There's nothing wrong with her wanting to be a judge. She is a lawyer, and obviously she's at least 10 years post-call. But the petitions they received concerning the lady, because she's a woman, is that she's fond of receiving bribes. And not just receiving bribes, she demands them. And in a particular case, they traced bribe money that was paid to her into her account. Now, as far as the judicial process is concerned, her journey has ended. Well, more important, since the money was traced from her account, what is the Nigeria Police Force doing about this? Have they been officially notified? Have they carried out disciplinary processes? Have they activated disciplinary processes against her? Has she been given an opportunity to respond to why bribe money is sitting in the account? Maybe it's the work of her enemies. Maybe it's her village people who want her downfall. But has she been given the opportunity to respond? And then more importantly, I hope the ICPC is following this and will liaise with the FGSC, because we cannot have serving police officers taking bribes. Now, the official position of the Nigeria Police Force is that they are friends, they don't take bribes, bribery is not allowed.
Right.
That is the official position.
And the water is wet.
Yes. But in reality, for those of us who have had the opportunity of or have been forced to interact with them, we know what the true reality is. But it speaks volumes that 28 out of 62 passed the integrity test. 34 did not pass. Now, you wonder, what was the benchmark? What was the pass mark for this integrity test? If a further integrity test is conducted, how many of the 28 will still be standing?
That's the question. Maybe.
Very briefly, you see, while I may not understand the niceties of the integrity test, I am really happy and impressed that such a thing is being carried out. Let me tell you why. Now, there is a consequence for your life being above board before you come to the point where you may or may not be approved as a judge. It's no longer business as usual. If you were known in your little corner of the woods as one highly, let me use the word, unconventional judicial officer, when the time comes, those who you posed as an offender to have the, shall we call it, the right of reply. They can come and petition against you. So it now means, in my view, that in any role you are, and this is the judiciary, I think this should be in every sphere of life. It's almost like the naming and shaming. If we put your names up and say this person has been nominated to be this next level, people can say this one too. No, not be this one. So it's a marker. I mean, it's just a story headline, but it's a change in the right direction. So I applaud the process.
You know, just to make a comment concerning what Mr. C said, about the whole refrain about the police is your friend, we don't take bribes and so on and so forth. Just yesterday morning, I was on my way to Aja. I was in a ride-hailing cab, and at the Aja bridge, just to turn left into the road, there were policemen who were stationed there stopping cars, and they stopped us, all smiling and everything, demanding something for Sunday. That was all we were there for. So that refrain about they don't collect bribes and so on and so forth. Yeah, like I said, water is wet. But anyways, AB, let us keep the ball rolling here and step into this next story. I think we're still staying in the Punch, if my memory serves me correctly. Yes, the Punch is where we're still staying. And the opposition, African Democratic Congress and Labour Party on Sunday criticized President Bola Tinubu for departing Nigeria for Europe on holiday at a time the country is grappling with rising insecurity, including foreign military interventions in the north. Now, the presidency announced on Sunday that the president left Lagos for Europe for his end-of-year holiday ahead of an official visit to Abu Dhabi in the UAE, where he's scheduled to attend the 2026 edition of the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week Summit. Very interesting developments here. I mean, so many things to unpack from this one, but AB, let us get your perspective, first of all.
Now, it's possible to go into the politics of it and I completely agree with those people. But I believe the best way to break this story down is to bring it to a domestic level. If in your current premises where you live, there is a big mango tree that has some branches that have been looming over your roof. In fact, sometimes some of them fall and cause damage to your roof. And the local government comes to your compound, breaches your fence. Take note of that. Breaches your external fence and brings down those threatening branches. Would your first action be to take a holiday?
Definitely not mine.
Wouldn't it be appropriate for you to, first of all, look at that fence, look at what was this breach about, talk to your 2-year-old daughter, your 95-year-old grandmother, assure them that it's okay, these things were disturbing us. You guys saw now, those mangoes kept falling and disturbing the roof, causing some leaks. And so, mama, don't worry. Baby, don't worry. Secondary school children, it's okay. You would first of all set about reassuring the members in your household. Has your president spoken once to you? Maybe it's not me. Maybe I'm not his market, but has he spoken to any one of our listeners? When such a thing as missiles fell into our compound, okay, let's take it national, our compound, we scrambled with one multi-paragraph thing about how, oh, we're the ones who gave them intelligence. And then some terrorist sympathizers were saying, we didn't see any dead bodies. They shouldn't worry. They should look up. They will see the dead bodies very soon. They should just keep looking up at the sky. The point is, the president has not even addressed that event. And I don't care what was that Senator Ndume calls the domestic helper of President Bola Tinubu, what's his name? I don't care how many statements they put out. In fact, the statements are contradictory because when Peter Obi said he would accept help, not invasion, Onanuga, thank you. When Peter Obi said he would first of all accept help, Onanuga went online saying, oh my God, we will never forget. And then the next thing, when the thing came up, Onanuga clapped his hand, oh, wonderful that we're... You see, when a domestic help like that is just speaking out of turn, you wonder what exactly is going on. But the president is completely out of pocket. That summit in the UAE is starting on January 11th. Today is the 29th of December. There is absolutely no reason or time at this moment for a holiday, as it's termed. He came to Lagos, blocked the whole road with 50 or 100 cars, and he's now going on a holiday. First of all, I'm sure Lagosians are relieved. So thank God for that. But even coming with 200 cars to Lagos was a misplaced priority. And it is to fund and fuel those cars that they want to tax me from the 1st of January. Do you understand all the layers of wrong that this represents? So there's one person who says, there was one late musician who said, they don't really care about us. It is evident from this action that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not really care about us. I speak for myself. I do not perceive that he cares about me. I may not have been in Sokoto, but who says tomorrow the bombs are not coming down to rain on Port Harcourt or Warri or Delta or wherever? Who says? And then another hastily scribbled thing will come out. Oh, I spoke with so-and-so for 19 minutes. Then I spoke. You know, being on the phone with somebody can be you begging the person for 19 minutes. And then for 5 minutes saying, why did you do that now? We should have. So just being on the phone is irrelevant. As Tugar told us, oh, I spoke with the Secretary of State for 19 minutes. That's begging, please don't do it. Please don't do it. I wasn't there. They didn't give us the transcript of the conversation. So since the president will not even address it, I am free to come up with my presumptions of what the conversation was about. President Tinubu, have your holiday. Bye-bye. Nobody's missing you because bombs can come whether you're here or not. Clearly, when you were here, it didn't stop. 46 trips in this year alone, i.e., 1 trip for every 2 missiles or 2 trips for every 1 missile. Let's go.
Okay, so very quickly, this sustainability trip is actually starting on the 11th of January and ends on the 15th, according to the organizers. So it's a bit sad that the aide to the government, to the president, will suggest that this trip is in early January. It's nowhere near early January. That's the first point. Now, the second point is he claims he was invited. It is not every invitation that is honored. The invitations we turned down. He hasn't spoken to the people, the good people of Nigeria. And as it stands now, on the 1st of January, we're going to get another poorly recorded, poorly edited message, recorded video addressing Nigerians because he will not be in country. So for an event starting on the 11th of January, as at the 29th, as at the 28th of December, he was out of the country.
But I mean, he's going to complete his holiday before heading to
How
that.
many holidays has he taken in 2025? Is this the way he worked at Mobil? Because all the data squad members say, oh, he worked at Mobil. Is this the way he worked there? Is he a part-time president or is he a full-time president? When he's on ground, we don't see anything. He's out of the country, we don't see anything. So
when he's on ground, they bomb over his head.
So Nigerians, we have another election coming up. We have to decide, are we going to go through this cycle for another 4 years?
Joseph Meyer in Silver State, Ejubu, Lagos, is on WhatsApp. Good morning to you. Joseph, he says, it's pathetic how our government officials and politicians behave ever since the bombardment in Sokoto State terrorists, bombardment of the Sokoto State terrorist sites. The president has been silent, only to travel out after appearing at the Ayo Festival. Even the Senate, lawmakers, and governors are silent as well. This is totally unacceptable how the government and politicians actually treat citizens. May God help Nigeria. May God help Nigeria indeed. Alrighty, let's get back into the stories. Mr. C, let us talk about what's going on with Sarah. Premium Times, what we're going to. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, Sarah. I can't count how many times we've spoken about them this year alone. Well, they filed a lawsuit against Nigeria's governors and the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, over their failure to account for the spending of the 14 trillion naira fuel subsidy savings they collected from the Federation Account Allocation Committee allocations, including details of projects executed with the money and the completion reports on said projects. Sarah, bringing up another suit here. I'm just curious though, 14 trillion naira, where did that figure actually come out from? And a lot of questions to be answered by the governor, really.
Yes, a lot of questions. So personally, I'm confused, and I'm going to explain why I'm confused. On the 29th of May 2023, we got a statement from the current president saying the fuel subsidy regime was over. And we all saw the shockwave that hit every single Nigerian immediately after that pronouncement. And supposedly, since then, there's been no subsidy. Then, shock of shocks, the NNPCL releases its auditor's statements for the year 2024. And I'm seeing figures like 8-point-something trillion on the recovery. Now, what is an under recovery? The NNPC imports crude oil, imports petrol into Nigeria, despite the fact that none of its refineries work. And then we have refineries in countries that work or cannot get the right amount of crude oil allocated to them. So the NNPC imports the petrol in USD and sells it there. There will always be like a shortfall. That shortfall is charged for the government. And in last year's auditor statement alone, I think the figure was around 13 trillion now. So now I'm confused. Did we stop it or did we not stop it? Well, let's put that to the side. Let's even deal with this 14 trillion. 14 trillion covering what period? Is it from June 2023 till date? I like Syrup. I like the work they do, and they shouldn't stop. They shouldn't be discouraged by the antics and the shenanigans of the Nigerian political class. But the truth of the matter is, you will not have more than 3 states that can tell you what they don't do. I'm so certain this. They cannot tell you where the money went, what they've done, what they've used it to do. Every day we regale the stories from state to state where contractors are complaining they have not been paid. Whether or not they've done the work is a completely different conversation. How many states have implemented the new minimum wage completely? How many states have cleared out their backlog of pension and gratuity debts? So you see that there is a very big problem when government at all levels, including the local government levels, cannot account for the monies they receive. In Lagos State, there are some local governments areas that receive 14 billion in Lagos.
What is that to show for it?
That is a very good question. In River State, where AB is, Obiakpo is the second richest local government in the entire country. What is there to show? The development on the ground, does it match the monies they've been collecting since June 2023?
It's not the local government of the former governor, current.
Yeah, he was once. Yeah, he was once the chairman there. So you see, from local government to state to federal, you cannot match the development on the ground with the monies that have been claimed to have been spent. And it will not stop. When an election season has officially started, whether you like it or not, because this year primaries was held across all the parties. So you are going to find more money being officially spent, but the projects, you will need a prayer and forensic detectives to find them.
And a microscope. I'm glad what Mr. C said. He said they cannot tell you what they spent it on. It doesn't mean they don't know, but they cannot come out in public and say what they spent it on because it has no relation with the public good.
I hear you on that one, Edie. All right, let's keep things moving so we can get through as many things as possible because time is just absolutely zooming by as it always does when you're having very, very beautiful conversations. We're stepping back into the punch. Let's talk health matters. The Nigerian Medical Association has criticized the federal government for what it described as the paltry allocation to the health sector, noting that the proposed 2.48 trillion naira for 2026 amounts to approximately 10,400 naira per citizen for the fiscal year. The NMA said the amount allocated to the health sector is unacceptable and grossly inadequate. AD.
In fact, they are saying because of this inadequacy, there is every likelihood of coming strikes. Let's just step back from this. It is, first of all, our hope that all Nigerians will not be sick at the same time on the same day. So when you average these things out, yes, it's not, we're not all hoping to go to the hospital on the same day and then be overwhelmed. But it is an indication of where you put your priorities. You say you're leading a country, and at the level of the leadership, the standard typically go anywhere but Nigeria. It's only, we can count the people, 1, 2, 3 of them. The former vice president did an operation here, one or two. The rest of them routinely go abroad. I am curious to know, again, why President Tinubu is taking about 13 days before the so-called start of something when he doesn't have to. But set that aside. NMA is saying, look, if you don't invest in the health sector, the medical professionals of all stripes cannot give the proper treatment that they need. There was one minister recently said people should go. That accounts a lot for the Japa syndrome in that sector. But leave Japa alone. A professional in the medical sector is, first of all, well-trained because you see it when they go abroad, they quickly fit in. They wish to do their very best. I've said this before. There are only two types of emergencies in the world. There's a medical emergency and there's every other type. when your health is not right, my late mother would say, your health is your wealth. When it doesn't matter what you know, how deep you are, if you are not well, you cannot perform. A system, a society where you don't prioritize health means it's a society where you don't want productivity to be improved. Again, everybody will not fall sick on the same day, but when we do happen to fall sick, and trust me, every single one of us is susceptible to illness. What kind of healthcare can you get? Now, I'm going to set this aside and say that is at the federal budgeting level. There is a primary healthcare level, which is at the states. What are the states also doing? States like River State have actually invested a lot into the healthcare sector, at least in both the main capital and at the local government level. River State has been quite consistent in trying. Is it all it can be? No. But I've always felt that some states should actually make themselves the medical mecca of the country and, in fact, of the sub-region. And they might find even more resources and revenue coming to them. So it's short-sighted for a state or a country not to invest in the healthcare sector because, one, you don't have healthy citizens, two, you lower productivity, three, overall well-being of the society is not assured. So, and then you see that in sharp contrast to what the people themselves do. They fly abroad at the drop of a hat. Once they have toothache, ear pain, and assorted things, they're off. So I just think the NMA is raising an alarm. I don't want them to go on strike. I will continue to ask them to please manage and let's use responsible ways to pressurize government when we can. But at the end of the day, we have to get a proper system that rewards or punishes people who do not prioritize us, just like that integrity test in the first story. Let it be seen that if you don't prioritize the people in their healthcare, their education, their industrialization, you lose office.
Very well said there, AB. You know, it's very interesting looking at the budget for health for this year. That's 2.48 trillion naira. It was the same as last year's actually, and it's about 5.1% of the total budget, but it still falls short of the 15% Abuja declaration targets. Health should have at least 15% in the budget. We're still at about 5%. There's still quite a large gap there. So
a failing grade. 5/15 is a failing grade.
Any way you actually want to look at it. All right, let me take messages here as we begin to bring things home. Stan says, syrup that never won any suit against federal government, having good cases but no positive endings. None that I've ever known. Are they an NGO? Just asking.
So let me respond to that very quickly. In the past 3 years, syrup has won at least 4 major cases. There was a 460 million Abuja CCTV loan case, and they got an order of court compelling the government to publish the details of that contract and the reasons why it failed. Concerning the X-ban, they also got an order of court saying that the 2021 suspension of X in Nigeria was unlawful. Then you have the $5 billion Bacha route, and they order the governments of Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, Jonathan, and Buhari to account for the spending. And then the final one is cyber stalking and free speech. They got judgment from the ECOWAS court prohibiting the Nigerian government from prosecuting under the vague term cyber stalking. So it's not correct to say they don't win. A simple Google search would have revealed all of this.
But more than that, please let me just, you see, that cynical approach doesn't even recognize the Lord's work that Serap is doing, highlighting this thing. Sometimes it's not only about the quote-unquote win or loss, and those wins are important, but the fact that let people understand that people are watching. You don't just do what you want and there's no watchdog. So kudos to Serap today, because they go after the easily forgotten issues and highlight them for public gaze. In fact, as a citizen, you should support the work of Serap because they are working largely in public interest.
All right, this is from Emeka, who says, they say they've removed subsidy. Where's the money? They are currently struggling to pay its doctors for arrears for work done as far back as 7 years ago. Based on the MOU signed with the NERD, the Association of Resident Doctors, we are already gearing up for another strike come January 1st. I feel sorry for Nigerians. It just never ends, does it? It just never, ever ends. Moj
And
from Apapa says,
it can end if we prioritize good governance. So it's not an impossible situation. We just lack good governance at the federal and the state levels, and even the local government, like you pointed out. Where is the evidence of the subsidy money in the lives of the ordinary Nigerian? We'll talk about that later today.
This Moj says, good morning, everyone. Please, AB, I'm curious to know what are the responsible ways that you think the NMA should follow that would get the government to act other than going on strike?
You see, I am still saying when they go on strike, and I'm not against their grief, they have real grievance. As you can see, I'm an advocate, if you will, for them. But I find that when they go on strike, the people who they are striking against are not suffering because those people simply go abroad. It is we, the ordinary people, who suffer. Ordinary people who cannot, because they, of course, before they go on strike, they responsibly empty out the hospital. They send every admitted person home and all that. And so it's the ordinary person who suffers. I would really ask them to find other ways. Look, let me be on a lighter note. Let them contact their doctors' friends abroad and buy the largest size of injection so that anytime these people go abroad, it is like a siphon hose that they will press into their bomb. Maybe they will stay at home now. It is on a lighter note, but I'm saying even I wonder what they can do. But I think they are some of the most intelligent human beings on the surface of planet Earth. They should think of evolving some other ways in addition to strike. I'm not saying they cannot strike, but these strikes don't hurt these people.
All right, let me take this one from YouTube. This is from your feel-good radio friend who says, good morning to you from Yanagua, all the way from Bielsa. Good morning to you. He says, the mango tree analogy was a quality one. Dele Faratimi's words keep ringing. A man that gains entry into your house through the window can never mean well for you. All right. Thank you for sharing that one. Great to hear from you all the way from Bielsa State. It's been a pleasure being with you this morning on Freshly Pressed. Thank you all so much for all the messages. And of course, always keeping up with us on the show. We appreciate you very much. We appreciate you as well, Mr. C and AB, for taking time out this morning. AB, I know that we're taking a pause right now, but hey, wrap it up for us.
Thank you, Ayo. Thank you, Mr. C. And thank you to every single one of the listeners. We're rounding up this week. It's the end of the year. 2026 can and shall be better. I think we have to be resolute. We have to be very, very focused on making sure that our lives mean something and impressing those who purport to lead us that they must align with us. Trust me, it's only about 3,000 individuals in this country who are currently enjoying this country. The remaining 239 million XXX are by overwhelming numbers, the larger proportion. We can change the course and trajectory of this country.
All right, thank you for that, AB. Mr. C.
Thank you, Ayos. Thank you, AB. Thank you, wonderful listeners. And like AB said, 2026 has to be different. We cannot continue doing the same thing but expecting different results.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for the wise words. We'll continue this conversation, or these conversations at 9 on Lagos Talks, where we'll have a big recap of the major stories from the year. Of course, these fine gentlemen will be joining me then 9 a.m. right here on Smooth 98.1. It's going to be a bumper one. You definitely do not want to miss out on that. My name is Ayokunmi Records. Stick around. 8:15, we take a walk into the locker room. It's all about sporting action from the week.